Well, welcome, I guess. I would say welcome back, but this is the first episode of the JourneyCast. Should we introduce ourselves? I guess, should we introduce ourselves, me and you?
Yeah. My name is Zach Ronsky. I am a co-founder of In-House Creative, and I'm also, a person in Toronto. I'm an entrepreneur trying to figure it out. Have I figured it out yet? No. But here's Evan. Introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Zach's partner. I'm Evan, partner at In-House Creative. Creative person at heart, I guess. Like Zach's still trying to figure it out for sure. But yeah, we have this sweet thing going on right now called The Journey. We'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, I guess we're on our own journey right now and don't know when it'll end. It's at the very beginning, but yeah, it's so far so good.
Beautiful.
I guess, should we introduce our guest? Yeah.
Someone we have very special with us today. And I say that because you meet people again on the journey. And that's kind of what this whole podcast is about, the journey of people you meet. You can tell when you meet this person, like, she gives a fuck about the people that she's talking to. She cares about their interests. She cares about where they're going to end up. So we've got Ale with us. She does have a last name, which she'll talk a little bit more about. She is in the process of launching one of the first clean, waste-free, sustainable candles called Everly. Ale, it's all you.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And one thing that I'll say about the journey, Evan, is that there is never an end to it. It is continual.
Very true.
And that is what's fun about it. We need to enjoy it. So I'm super happy to be here and pumped to be on this first episode. This is awesome. Thank you for having me.
I also will say thank God Zach did that intro, because I could never in a million years do an intro that good. So thank you. And also,
Thanks,
read all of it over there. You can read all of it
yeah,
over there.
it's true. He did not memorize this at all. And my last name is pronounced Guerra.
Yeah.
I don't expect anybody to pronounce it that way.
I'm not going to try and
Don't try.
I always
pronounce
know
it.
you as Ale. I'll always
okay.
know you as Ale. So
If you pronounce my nickname right, Ale, that's fine. I'm happy. My husband can't even pronounce my last name, so.
Also, two things. First of all, I know this setup is like not ideal, but like we're figuring it out. First episode will never be perfect. Also, I think it's important to note that Ale is like kind of, I guess, in a way, one of the co-founders in the journey, right? Like,
Thanks, guys.
I think that's important to know. There's a reason why you're our first guest, not only because you have a cool journey that you're on and a cool candle business, but I mean, like, I know there's no like official quote unquote co-founders yet, but I mean, it does make sense that
Thank you,
she would
guys.
be one.
yeah.
I appreciate it. It's been a very organic journey with you guys. Let's say that.
Zach, do you want to talk about like what the journey is briefly? You don't have to go deep,
Sure.
but
So I've got sitting next to me Evan Shub, and funny enough, we actually met, I think, in probably grade 9 at one point, but like grade 10 when we actually like went on like winter camping trips together because we were in a class, and like, then classic, like, you don't speak to him for 8 years. And then I saw that he was like, I didn't even know he wanted to do creative. I followed up with him over the years. He looked like he was doing good. Then I saw that he was working on this thing that was kind of similar to us in terms of like, well, we back at the time we were doing video production. And then Evan came on, and I'll say that like, if we weren't suffering now, we were suffering way, way, way before Evan came. In terms of like what we were doing, it was so small-minded. And I like to think back, and part of the reason that like the journey kind of, it's like our journeys intertwined. So like, maybe I went to Thornhill Secondary and we never met. Right.
Yeah.
So kind of just for anyone that's listening is more and more involved, it's like our group is all about providing that same opportunity for everybody. I mean, you've got 100 founders in the room. You don't know if all of them are going to succeed. That's fine. But you never know who your next business partner is. You never know who your next client is. And more importantly, you really don't even know who your like next friend is. So
Totally.
just anyone listening,
So I think you guys have a very sweet relationship, by the way.
thank you.
It's actually
I
very
actually want to touch on that later, but
Okay,
yeah.
because like I can feel that you guys have been friends for so long, and that you have such a nice relationship, and it's nice to see that you guys are business partners together. I'm sure that comes with a lot of like, like backs and the more you love each other, and the more the closer you are in a relationship, like any relationship, the more disagreements that are going to happen. It's natural, you know what I mean? But it's also like the best journey to be on is with people that you really care about and you get along with. So I'm very happy for you guys.
Yeah, thank you, 100%. I don't know if it's we love each other, right?
I would say that like you've taught me a lot. I lose my shit a lot. No, I don't. I don't even think I'm like a crazy fucking.
You lose your shit a lot.
I don't
I can
lose my
tell.
shit. It's just like sometimes like Evan, I think is so comfortable to like really call me out on things, and that's fine. But then sometimes I get confused, then I just get angry. But one of the things that I'm trying to work on, again, it's a journey of life. You got to figure it out. Is like you remember that I was doing voice notes today and I never sent them. I was fucking screaming at you. I was saying the worst shit ever. Saying, Evan, I make content every single day. What the fuck are you talking about? I was saying the worst thing ever. But then it's like you've taught me how to like kind of bring it down, mellow it out, sit for 10 minutes, and then then you saw I got very calm after.
Yeah.
So we do compliment each other. And we also dated a lot of the same girls too in high school.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's actually a lie, but okay. No, well, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm actually proud of you because, yeah, our communication is definitely getting better. And I actually, this is a question I wanted to ask you, Ale, but like further on in the podcast. I don't know if I should ask it now. Should I? Does it matter?
Whatever. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, a lot of people, I've heard this a million times. They say like, don't work with your family, don't work with your friends. Here I am working with Zach. He's a friend of mine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like your business partner, co-founder is your mom, right?
My mama.
So what do you have to say to all the people that say
It's
never do that?
It's tough because you don't want, like, I've heard this all the time too. Like money, friendships, and family, like try to separate it. I've seen a lot of things happen, with people that I know, and including like, maybe family, but like people that I know, we'll just keep it high level. I've seen examples of relationships actually torn apart, but I think the key is if you are going to embark on a journey with somebody that you love and a friend or a family, you need to really trust each other and give each other that space. Like you decided to be part of this journey together for a reason. Obviously, you have skills that are complementary to Evan's, Zach, and you have skills that are complementary to Zach's. You know what I mean? So I think respecting that and really trusting each other and having that open communication. And then, dude, we're human. Like if you have a freaking meltdown one day, I have meltdowns. I can be such a bitch sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like coming back and being like, yo, I'm sorry. And like having that realization and coming back and just saying sorry, like goes a really long way. I think we get into trouble when like our ego gets so big that we don't say sorry. And then we sweep things under the rug and everything. And so my relationship with my mom now, talking about my relationship with my mom, I'm so fucking blessed. Like she's amazing. She's crazy like me, but amazing. And she's been like, where's my little paperweight? I have it somewhere. I don't know where it went. Yay! Yes. So she gave me this such a long time ago, and I talk about this all the time. It says, what would you attempt I can't speak. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? So like she's been literally like pushing me to just like pursue my dreams forever. And like I'm just so lucky to have her like on my side. But I wouldn't say it's like a super traditional relationship as like co-founders. Like she's there supporting me. She's actually going to be like at a nonprofit event in a month representing the brand. So we're going to be like giving 50 products, and she's going to be going on stage and talking about these things. Like my mom has a big background in NGOs. So like we complement each other well because I don't want to go. I mean, not that I don't want to go to those things. I would love to be there, but it's like too hard to be everywhere. So it's nice that we can split each other up. She's going to be there representing, and that's her world. So I think we complement each other well. We obviously trust each other. And that's a big part of it. It's giving room to each other.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I think about my family. I don't think that I'll ever, I mean, like maybe, like we could work on projects together, but I don't think I'd necessarily start a business, with my brothers or my family. I want to just touch on something with Evan. When I found this over the time, especially with Nur too, the co-founder of In-House as well, you kind of come together to like do the business, right? And maybe it's kind of hard with your mom because like she's also your mom and like she's still kind of raising you. You're always going to be her baby, right? So like, but we kind of came into it where it's like, okay, Evan, like you're really sick of branding. Let's do this together. And then we kind of became friends. Like same with Nur, same with a lot of my first client. That's kind of In-House's philosophy. Like we gotta, like it's not like our job to become friends with our clients, but care so much about them that we eventually just end up doing it anyways.
Totally.
If we never spoke again, you and I, like not saying that we wouldn't, but I'm saying is that like I would be very curious of where your journey takes you and like rooting you on and stuff like that. So I think it's an interesting aspect. Can you talk a little bit more about with your mom and like, are there times where you guys fight or is there times where she gives you
so really funny
advice?
So, no, this is really, really funny. Like after I did that whole spiel, like obviously it's not like, all like rainbows and butterflies. Like she is my mom, but I think we've learned really well to separate. Like if we ever, first of all, our relationship has improved so much. Like we both matured a ton. There's a saying that when you heal yourself, you heal those around you. And I think we've both been like healing around the same time and like have created like a really nice open stream of communication. But what we're really good at is we're able to separate like our friendship, sorry, not our friendship, our relationship, mom-daughter relationship and business relationship. Like if we get in a mom-daughter fight, that's separate from the business. You know what I mean? Like we're able to like put that on the table, focus on what we need to focus on business, and then obviously we're going to talk about the mom and daughter thing too. And I think that that's really important when you have that. So one time she'll like call me. Sometimes we post content, sometimes on Instagram that she does not agree with. Like we posted a joke. Who was it? Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen. And I love Seth Rogen, by the way. But we like posted a meme of like Seth Rogen. It's something stupid. You can go on our Instagram and see it. But she like didn't get it because it's like such a different generational thing. You know what I mean? And she like called me. She's like, I just want you to know, like, I don't know. I don't like that hairy man on your Instagram. And she was like legitimately upset. You know what I mean? And something so silly. It's like, it's like you just need to have the patience to like, explain, well, mom, this is why it's funny, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like, I don't know. We haven't really had like a crazy like fallout so far, I would say. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, no. I worked with my girlfriend, but nothing as insane as this. We worked at a coffee shop together, so. But much easier to work at a coffee shop than to like.
That's romantic,
scale.
Though.
Yeah, I guess. We definitely did fight. But yeah.
That's different though, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like I feel like I don't know if I could ever like work with Jimmy. Actually, let's talk about Jimmy for a second.
Yeah.
Mr. Jim. You guys know Jimmy.
We do.
So my husband Jimmy, shout out to Jimmy, is the CFO at Stack Capital. The guys here did a sweet video for them.
Yeah, shout out Nur. Headed that project.
Yeah. But he's so funny. So he's a CFO. So he's like, he helps me with my numbers. He gets really frustrated with me because I'm just like not a numbers person. And sometimes I just want to be like, fuck the numbers. And he's like, you need to focus on your numbers if you're going to have a business. And I'm like, can't you do it? He's like, no, I'm here to support you, but I'm not going to do things for you. And we actually get into like arguments. It's just easier to get into arguments with somebody, again, that you're living with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or even like it's easier to get into arguments, honestly, with someone who you have a relationship with deeper than work.
Totally.
I feel like, like I feel like if me and Zach were like strictly like not even just business partners, if we were just like strictly business relationship, I feel like I would be like less inclined to like to be honest, to be open, you know?
That's why it hurts so much.
I also think it's important to like understand that like everyone you work with thinks differently. Totally. So like for me, for example, like there's a lot of things that Evan and Nerlin, like before like you really grounded your feet here, like I was fucking ready to do anything. Like I would take any equity in any deal. I was always like, let's move, let's do it. So I'm very much, I think, like you in that way in terms of like, you just want to make moves, you want to get the product out there. But you know, I think that it's important to understand that like I couldn't do that. And then also too, like, you know, maybe like the way we look at relationships, I've kind of had an impact in terms of how we do stuff like that as well too. But we all love this company to death and we all want to see it survive. Like it's our baby. Like we're almost at the 4-year mark doing this. And it's been like, we still are surviving. Like it's still it's a hustle. We all love it so passionately. And like, obviously like a father and a mother would probably fight on how to like take care of a baby. Like we fight on like, what's the best way to move and make moves like that.
Jimmy and I talk a lot about this idea of like having an anchor and a balloon in a relationship. Like you need a little balloon that, you know, floats and there's a creative person and has these ideas, but sometimes you need a little bit of an anchor to kind of bring you back down to earth and to, you know.
100%.
So who's the anchor and the balloon in this relationship? Because I feel like you guys are both very creative, right?
Well, no, Zach is the balloon 100%.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me and Nur, I don't really like, Zach, like you said, is the one, and Nur's like in the corner behind the camera, like laughing because he was probably like, 100%. Zach is that guy who dreams so big, wants to do everything, like thinks that he can do everything, which like to the power to him, he can do a lot of stuff. That is Zach. But me and Nur are kind of the people in the relationship that need to sometimes grab him and be like, slow down there. Like good idea, but do you know the details behind that? Do you know how to execute this and that? So there's definitely that relationship. Would you say that's the case, Zach?
I think there was also a lot of people on our early journey that might not have been the best influences on us. They were big guys and they were doing very big high level projects, and whether they owned businesses or whether they had projects, like there were certain things I liked about them. The idea of their ability to move and execute. But then it's also too, like, a lot of them were assholes as well. Like, a lot of them were just shitheads who, like, didn't, so, like, understanding that, like, okay, if we're going to do business together, we should sign a contract. We should, have a security deposit. Like, they kind of helped us grounded on that.
And that's what I would say too. And I can talk about this experience too. Like, I have done businesses with friends where we fell out. And now, funny enough, we are friends again. But the lesson learned there, which I think we've talked about maybe before, is like, it doesn't sound like it's important in the beginning, but it is important to have things like on paper, at least, even if it's a freaking email, like having like legal documents and everything. Okay, maybe a little bit
100%.
too much and excessive, but having things in writing and an email, like something that all parties can refer back to, is super important. So I was once in a situation where I woke up one day, I was co-founding a crowdfunding platform with a friend of mine. And I woke up one day and I had lost access to like all of my emails and documents from the company. I was just booted out of the company without any explanation. And whatever, like the company wasn't, like not around anymore. So not the craziest, biggest deal in the world, but it hurt so much at the time that my friendship was just like, there was no way to keep that friendship. And
100%.
this is this is a long time ago. I was 25 and living in New York at the time, and I really loved the guy. So it really hurt me. But now fast forward, I'm 34 and we're like back in each other's lives. So I feel like we were always meant to be in each other's lives. We like talked about it now. We've apologized. I know that I wasn't perfect, back in the day either, but that wasn't a way to manage things. So I think even if it's your best friend, just having things like clear,
100%.
Super important.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, like, I think we've looked back a little bit in the journey. You came to me, we probably met 6 months ago around that time. And you said you were going to start.
No?
I don't count it. Like, I feel like I've known you for much longer, even though this is the second official time we've met, which is quite strange. I was thinking about that yesterday. Really? This is the second time we've met in person. But we've talked enough to know. You came to me, 6 months ago, and you what are you doing? Oh, I've got this candle business. Yeah. And now, actually, if you can see in that camera right there, we have candles. Ta-da! I want you to talk to me a little about what you're working on now. I want you to just fucking tell me about your journey and how you got here.
Oh my gosh.
Let's hear it.
Really good one. Wow. I don't even know where to start with that one. Where do you want me to start? Like, how many years ago? You, Evan, tell me. Give me some guidance.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why you started a candle business, right?
I was born. Just kidding.
Like, there's
I came from
like,
my mom.
Yeah, but like, I'm assuming you're quite passionate about the environment. Yeah. I mean, you're wearing a shirt that literally says climate change. So it's obviously something that didn't just stem from a love of candles, right? It stemmed from a love of...
And it took me a little bit to really even understand where this came from. And I've been very introspective lately, and I now know where it came from. Like, it's always been in me, this love for the planet, and now turning that into a business has been very cool. Like, I feel like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do. I just knew that whatever I did needed to be something like good for the planet, good for people, something that like did not leave anything bad behind. So I'm from, just for the context of why I care about the environment, I'll say the story of where I came from. So I grew up in Mexico City, about an hour and a half outside of Mexico City on a ranch. I joke about this, but literally a cow was my best friend. My brother used to pick up cow shit from the floor and like throw it at me. That was like our way of like playing. Nasty. I would make like mud pies. I know, disgusting. My brother's disgusting. Like, he loves fart jokes and all that stuff. But I used to like make like mud pies and like mud little like characters, you know what I mean, with like the indigenous people in like this community in Mexico. Those were my friends. Those were my nannies. Like, those were the people that I grew up with. And then I moved to Mexico City once, like homeschooling wasn't really working at the ranch. So my parents were like, we need to go to Mexico City. And then after that, we moved to the States. But I think that really, for me, like growing up in California, then, after we moved to the States, I am in California. I grew up in the ocean. I feel like obviously connected to nature, all of that. And I don't know, I just kind of like started a career in marketing without really thinking about it. It was just like what was easy for me. It was accessible. I was creative. And fast forward, I ended up having, this career that brought me here to Toronto because my husband, I was in an agency when I decided to start making candles because I just love candles. And first the concept started as, okay, how can I make a clean candle? Because I know that the candles that I'm burning at home are disgusting. First, they're made with paraffin wax, which not a lot of people know this, but that's a byproduct of petroleum. That's like awful. It's literally like burning like car fuels in your home that you're inhaling. So bad for the environment, bad for you, like absolutely terrible. And then the fragrance industry is completely unregulated by the FDA. They're actually like the fragrance industry is protected as like a trade secret, like in a lot of the cosmetic products that you find out there. So it's kind of scary what you could be inhaling in candles. So I started making candles for myself because I love candles, thanks to my mom. She always had candles burning in the house, and I was just obsessed with them. But I wanted to just make a clean product for myself. And then I started selling those in markets, and I started getting repeat customers, which was just insane that I would get a repeat customer. And that's when I realized, okay, this is not really the most sustainable like concept, because people are coming and they're buying a net new jar for me. Like, is there a way that I can offer them like a refill? Can they give me their jars and I can refill them for them? Like, what can I do to make this concept just like cleaner, not just like as a non-toxic product, but also like cleaner for the environment? So that's, I started thinking about it again. And that's where the idea came of, I want to give people an accessible way to refill their empty vessels at home, which is where it really came from.
Want to grab a package?
Sure.
Show it
waiting
off
for
to
the queue.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you want.
So this is it. We'll make a candle later so that people can see. So this is a refill for a 10-ounce jar. So a little 10-ounce jar is going to look something like about this size right here. This is actually a handmade vessel by a ceramic artist here in Toronto named Catherine Holland. We're going to be selling these on our site in a different color, in like a white glaze. But the idea is you buy one vessel from us, or you have a vessel at home that you just want to keep using time after time after time. And instead of buying a new candle, you keep refilling it. So this is a pouch that is 60% compostable, and I can get into that later. We can talk about the packaging specifically. Microwavable. It has the wax that has basically everything that you need to make a candle in under 2 minutes at home. These are the instructions
Very cool.
in the back.
I feel like, Zach, I'm pretty like, I wouldn't say I'm a tree hugger, but I'm like, I care about the environment. I like canoe trips. I like hiking. I like spending time in nature. Like Zach, you'd be the same, right?
So like for me, and like I'm not gonna try and sound like a dickhead here, but like I don't really care too much about like. No, I'm not gonna say the environment. Like for my thing, like the thing that like makes me put up my money, the thing that makes me like passionate about, the thing that like I see on Instagram and I get like really upset, want to punch people in the face, like animals. I love animals
too.
I feel like as humans, we have like a right to protect them. I'm probably going to be vegan in the next 6 months. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, are you?
I've tried. It's no, I keep trying, and then one day I will succeed. It's just hard. It's hard to put a title on it. Do your best, eat less meats, but it's hard to just like I'm vegan now. And
no, it is hard. It is hard.
Sorry. Well, just to say, I was gonna like to bounce off hard. It's like I feel like sustainable products are cool, and like I love the environment, but I find it so hard to actually live like an environmentally sustainable life.
I know. But what do you find hard?
No, just like I buy some sustainable products, I do some sustainable things, but then I look back on the bigger picture and I'm like my life is still so unsustainable in a way.
But this is the issue. The issue is that we're chasing like this idea of perfection when it comes to sustainability, when it's just not the case. Like I'm not perfect at all. But the idea is like progress over perfection, and small things do make a difference. And the unfortunate reality is that our systems are not set up for you to be able to live a perfectly sustainable life and be like a functional human in society. Like it's just, it's unfortunate, but that is the reality. And it's like governments have made us believe that it's our responsibility to solve this issue on our own. And the truth is that there needs to be like crazy government action and rules and laws to be set in place for things to actually for a difference to be made, but that's going to take years because that can't be done like this either, right? Yeah. There's repercussions of things being done instantly. Like it's,
I agree.
Civilization
exactly
would collapse.
Like economic downturn and stuff like that. Well, look, I don't want to call what you're doing small, but if you look at it from the big picture of like the whole percentage of like what, how you're kind of lowering that footprint, I think the power of actually of what you're doing though, that like, I'm not crazy about candles, but what I love about what you're doing is you're setting the standard for other companies to be thinking about that and doing stuff like that. I'm going to reference Patagonia because it's a fucking sweater and it's cool and a bunch of finance guys wear them and that's dope. I love it.
Patagonia.
Does Jimmy have one?
Jimmy does have one, yeah.
Nice,
it's becoming a thing in France now too. Like my French friends came over to visit. Remember I told you my French friends were here? Yeah. And my friend Greg, who will watch this, I know. Yeah. He went like shopping with his wife and like we met up for dinner and he's like, look at what I bought. And he showed me his like Patagonia jacket. He's like, they're all cool in France. And I'm like, yo, those have been cool. And
It's really just
North
like
America forever.
one small step of like, you know, and you're following that journey, and then other companies, Ali can do it, I can do it, right?
But that's what it is. And like for me, like again, like I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I cared, and, you know, and I wanted to give back somehow. It's like you can do both. Like you don't need to, it doesn't need to be like mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? Like if I can inspire other people to be like, yo, I want to be an entrepreneur, but have like a social aspect, a socialpreneur is what I would call it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and there's many ways to do it. Like for example, like you said Patagonia, so I'm going to reference this. This is 1% for the planet. Do you guys recognize this logo? Yeah. Okay, so 1% for the planet was founded by the guys from Patagonia, actually.
Yeah.
And it's an organization. They have a bunch of like not NGOs. They basically, the way that it works, I'm a member, so 1% of my sales, and this is not like revenue, this is like total sales, are going to be donated to 1% of the planet, and they will distribute that amongst like a bunch of different organizations that are focusing on climate change. And they vet them, they check their progress. That's a very hard thing to do for me. But working through them, I know that they're doing their due
What do you
diligence.
think about a lot of the brands out there? Because I feel like, you know, even with us and certain brands that we worked on, it's just like, yeah, you know, let's just do it because, like, you know, everybody thinks it's so hot, and sustainability, it's so hot. Yeah, it's greenwashing, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's like a natural.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. It's
term.
like they'll pick this brand, right? And they'll be like, you know, it's good because we can also do X, Y, and Z. It's like, but you're in the first place trying to, even us, like we had this like idea during the beginning of the pandemic when we had no work. We were going to create a toilet paper brand. Lulutush, remember?
That wasn't
Lulutush?
That was before Evan came on.
Name.
But we were going to do like.
I'm very glad that Evan came on because not that that's not a good idea, but focus also is important.
Anyways, we had this like toilet paper brand, and like, you know, looking into it, like our whole marketing play was going to be, you know, we're sustainable. But it's like, wait, why would we even do it in the first place? There's tons of other options of toilet paper on the market that are doing that already. The chips that are going to bring us in from China are going to cause emissions. The packaging is a bitch to figure out. So like, you know, it's a lot of work because even you, wherever this is coming from, like everything has to do the best that you possibly can to do it, whether it's pushing that boundary.
Yeah. And I want to be very honest with like our product too. Like the packaging is 60% compostable. It's not 100% compostable. And I think that's very important that I tell my audience because I don't want to be deceiving ever. And it's the one piece of the entire company that I could not find in North America. Like I had to get that overseas because the packaging it was very difficult to find. I spoke to maybe like 100 like packaging providers and got samples from everywhere and did, you know, my R&D myself, and it was pretty hard to find the packaging. So unfortunately it is not coming from North America, but everything else, the wax, the filling, the fragrance, everything else, like my operations are like totally here in North America, and I'm really proud of that. Like even our vessels, I wrote about this on LinkedIn the other day. Like our vessel, I could have gotten these in Alibaba. Like literally, like I got samples. Not that crazy to work like and find sources stuff. I think I got a quote once for like 50 cents like per vessel or like $1, which is insane. Like these guys are literally handmade here by a ceramic artist. Like to me, this was something that I could find in North America. I was like, how could I possibly get this from overseas and pay for like contribute to that carbon footprint with shipping and everything when I could get this here and support somebody locally, you know?
Yeah, that's
so you have
awesome.
to pick and choose. Again, like progress over perfection. Like there's
100%.
As long as you're making moves in the right direction. And for you guys, like, okay, you don't have maybe you love animals, you said, right? That doesn't mean that you need to start like an NGO for animals, but maybe you can support one. Maybe you can volunteer. Like there's many ways of giving back, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like directly, like your company doesn't need to be like doing like the work exactly, but contributing, volunteering, donating, like those are all good means, you know?
Yeah, fair.
I know you talked about steps in the right direction, and like in 50 years, do you think we'll be in a better spot in terms of consumer products? Do you think we'll be in a worse spot? Honestly, Zach, this is a question to you too, because
dude, I hope so. I really, really hope so, because I don't want to be like bleak and have like a, you know, negative outlook on life, but really don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like we're like actually causing serious damage as consumers. Like consumerism is like, I don't know if that's going to change. You know what I mean? So the way that we create products that people consume, I think needs to change. And the truth is that recycling, I don't know, it's just not enough. You know what I mean? Like it's not enough.
100%.
Like we need to find better solutions. I'm hopeful. There's a lot of really cool companies out there that are doing amazing steps. Like you said, you want to be vegan. There's like a bunch of like food tech companies doing incredible stuff. Like there's a company called Just Egg. They make eggs out of monk beans, and they're literally delicious. You can buy those in Metro, by the way. Like the future of food is really interesting. there's a lot of tech companies now, food tech companies that are coming out with like animal proteins that they're making in the lab. They're literally identical to the like meat that you would get from beef. Like you won't taste the difference. But they're going to be able to create these meats in the lab without harming any animals, and they're going to have the same nutrients, amino acid profiles, like literally everything that you need. You know, if you claim that, you know, you need B12 levels and everything, like you will get that from these things. So there are a lot of companies out there making amazing strides. I think that, you know, for it to be, it's hard. It's like once there's mass adoption of those things will lower in price. So it's going to take time. I'm hopeful that there's a bright future ahead. I feel like there is no choice but to actually hope that there is a bright future ahead and for all of us to work collectively towards that because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's a heavy answer.
Yeah, honestly.
That's a heavy question.
Thinking back to the question, yeah, kind of like a crazy question to ask
No,
because
but I love
no
it.
one knows.
I actually love it. Like I was at South by Southwest this year and that was like one of the topics. Well, actually like the entire, I think it was like 3 days and like all of the talks were about 2050. And the panels were like food tech and the future of food and like all these really interesting things. So there's a very positive scenario and there's a very awful scenario. You know what I mean? There's a positive scenario where we actually all wake up and we're like, fuck, we need to all do like our contribution, or there's like the other scenario where it's like we didn't, you know what I mean? We didn't.
Yeah it is quite exciting what you're saying about a lot of the innovations that are happening. And you're right, it is very expensive at first, but like VR and like electric cars and a lot of all these different things that start expensive, but then it gets more accessible to the market. Totally. I think it's just really a race against the clock, right? Because you can cut like the meat industry, which is I think our biggest.
It's huge.
It's our biggest like
polluter.
CO2. Yeah.
CO2, sorry.
CO2, yeah.
You know what it is? The cow farts.
Is it actually though?
It's like an actual issue.
I never knew that. Like I thought it was like a joke.
Don't quote me. I feel like somebody's gonna watch this or like listen to this and be like, she's lying. But there is something. There is something to do with like the cow farts, like and also like what we're feeding them. Like and they're supposed to be like grass fed, right? Like free roaming and stuff. They eat this corn, all these grains that hypothetically we could be using to feed other people that are starving in the world, but our cows are eating them, and the cows are farting because they're not meant to be eating them.
Yeah, the real
and that's producing like. That's just like one piece of it, but there's like a bunch of other pieces. Yeah. But yes, cutting meat is going to be huge.
Yeah, and finding something that like I can be happy with. Like I saw some really good, delicious fish.
You love grilling. You know what I mean? Don't you? Yeah. Like barbecuing and stuff. Like be vegan, but also like these companies are going to allow you to be vegan, but also like enjoy the foods that you enjoy. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's also cool too. Now you're like a founder reborn. We talk about the journey. We talk about like what we've learned and how we go. What's it like to, taking another bat at the swing? Like you're about to kind of start this new business. You're launching in a month from now. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling excited? What are some things that maybe is on your mind 24/7? Like what is fucking going on?
It's definitely different than working for somebody else to have your own business. And I know that you guys know this. So it's like you don't eat your business, but you sleep and you dream about it. You know what I mean?
We don't stop.
Super exciting sometimes, also like exhausting other times. I'm very excited. Obviously, we'll see when it's the day that we launch and how we're progressing and everything there. But I think it's again, it's a journey. It's not a race. You know what I mean? Like I can't expect to like go to market, open everything, and woo, that's it. Work is done. Like no, it's going to be continuous work of showing people, going to markets, like talking about the product, doing all of these things. And to tell you guys a little bit of the background story. So this was my first product. This is a hand sanitizer. I started this during the pandemic. I was like, people are going to be needing to buy hand sanitizer. And my hands kept getting so dry because of just traditional hand sanitizers that I made this with hemp seed oil.
Yeah, like the packaging.
Thank you, essential oils. So Everly, before I was Everly, was called Ame. That was my first brand. And it was an e-commerce site where I sold a bunch of sustainable items. Like I sold like reusable straws and like market bags, candles, not my own. My hand sanitizer that I made, this was my only product. You guys want to try it?
Sure.
Oh my God. The flammable candle.
Smells nice.
Thank you. That's bergamot.
Oh yeah, it does smell nice.
The alcohol actually like disappears.
I don't want to rub it on the mic, but
so I think so just the reason why I'm talking about this is when I launched this company, I still had my full-time job at the agency that I was at. And I just literally was like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I literally thought, okay, we're launching in a month and I'm going to be like a sensation overnight. Like this is going to be a sensation overnight. And it wasn't, you know what I mean? And it was gut wrenching that things didn't go as I planned. I had some sales like my first like couple of weeks from family and friends who wanted to support me, and it was the sweetest thing in the world. But like to keep those sales up was really hard. Like it's not easy to launch a business, you know what I mean? And I learned a lot from that experience. First, I had a company that carried a bunch of different sustainable products, but that's really all we had. All the products had in common, so it was really hard to market and merchandise that. But everything that I learned from that experience, I've applied to Everly. So I feel like going into this launch now, I'm a lot more realistic. I'm just like goose frappa, going back to your comment on perspectives. Like everybody has a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like we get into this mode where we think like everybody should see the world through our lens. And like right now, I'm shocked that you guys haven't seen that movie, but like
Yeah, it's true.
like totally normal that you guys haven't.
It's true.
You know
It's
what I
true.
mean? Like I didn't know what Dime was. Your hat. It's such a cool company. Apparently, I'm like out of fashion these days.
I haven't paid like $100 for it, so
I love it. It's so cool. No, but I saw my friend Emily, her husband, wearing one, and I like wanted one, but I just didn't know what it was. So now I know. Thank you.
Are you thinking about when you think about brands like that, right? Like you saw it, and like your friend Emily saw it, right? And like now you kind of want one, right?
Branding is
Like,
good.
yeah.
Branding
Like, is there anything you're going to be doing with Everly to take the market like that? Anything that you're thinking about?
Okay,
Because it's a very powerful form
let's
of
talk
marketing.
about bootstrapping because I'm obviously a marketer and I love branding, and branding is like my jam. Like I just absolutely love it. So I'm bootstrapping the brand, which means the way that I think about it for me is like I'm using my own funds to invest in the company, and I'm not paying myself, and I'm going to reinvest that money from sales into the company, right? And so obviously I need to be very, very careful with what I choose to spend money on and what I don't spend money on. But for me, branding was like something that was really, really, really important, which is something that I invested in. So I don't know. I really believe in the power of branding and having a brand that
100%.
you love.
100%.
So we did, and look how pretty it
100%.
is. I'm really proud of it. It's so beautiful. It's something that I see, and I'm like such a sucker. I'm like, I would want this. I wanted to create things that
100%.
people want.
100%.
You know?
Like actually, it's funny at the first the Journey meetup at Good, they were giving away like
Their swag, their totes.
Well, that was cool too.
Yeah.
But they were giving away like discounted beer off tap.
Oh yeah.
And that's like so nice of them. But obviously, I'm a sucker for branding and cool packaging, so I was like immediately drawn to their massive fridge of like 1 million beers and ciders and stuff. And like I literally just picked the coolest looking can off of the shelf. I didn't even know what it was. I just like, oh, that can's cool. Maybe it's gonna be good. I don't know,
it's
but
crazy how
I'm
that
such a
works.
sucker for branding. Yeah, it's crazy the effect it has.
I have a
on
good
consumers.
right underneath in my building, and I go literally all the time just to look at the brands.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with them.
yeah.
Like they do such a good job at
100%.
curating the brands there and the packaging and it's just so cool. Like,
And my
it's such a fun thing.
girlfriend actually makes fun of me. Like I went to Loblaws the other day. I picked up like a sweet tea off of the health food section shelf just because the bottle looked cool. And she obviously made fun of me. But like I have an excuse because like we're a marketing agency and we work with branding. So that's what I always say. I'm just like, it's kind of like a case study. I'm just like grabbing it to inspect the packaging.
I think it's important. And then like another thing that's really important that goes beyond branding that's even more powerful is going to be like storytelling and your values, and really like not just storytelling your values, but like actually living your values and like implementing those into your brand. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
backing those up.
Yeah. And yeah, you've done a great job with Everly's
Thank you, I
packaging.
appreciate it.
It's all good.
Is that
You can
me?
check your
Is
phone.
that my phone?
This is a podcast.
I'm
like
so popular?
No. Like guys,
Why am I so popular?
This is the most casual podcast around.
It's so
all
hard.
good.
It's so hard to be so popular, Zach. Right?
all good.
I just
Yeah, I
muted
know.
my
Like
phone.
Zach is just is itching to. I feel like like I guess Everly is like the first example of a journey that a member of the Journey is taking, which is like incredible. It's crazy to see almost.
Thank you guys have. I mean, I guess we met before I even had everything finished. Like I was still working on the branding and everything
Yeah, it's just
when we met. Like it's been that long.
I think when we first met, when you first started talking, you didn't really even have anything to show me, like drawing wise, or
I probably didn't.
I know you didn't have a logo. You showed us your logo. Like we actually had a
I
feedback
got your
on
guys'
it.
opinion
You did.
on a lot of things.
That
I
was the
remember,
Yeah.
which by the way has been incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Like getting your feedback and your thoughts on things.
Thank you.
And you guys
Thank you.
being my supporters also, and like asking me, right? Like it's so tough to, I don't know, it's just so fucking tough to start something on your own. You know what I mean?
It really
to like
is.
remove that imposter syndrome. I know that you guys are planning to speak about that during a different podcast, so we won't go into that today. But that is a real fucking thing. and getting out of your head. So having this community, which is why the journey I think is so cool, like having a community of people that hold you accountable, that ask you how you're doing, that are interested in your journey, that support you, that come see you in your markets. Like I saw CC at Good the other day at her market. Like that is fucking amazing because it's like a fire.
Yeah.
You know,
and that doesn't feel intimidating.
Yeah.
I feel like the Journey's community so far, like a lot of times a business community can feel really like too professional and very intimidating.
Yeah.
At least just that's the way I feel.
Totally.
But the Journey feels so comfortable and like inviting. So yeah, I just want to add that. That's a big thing, at least that I feel.
It really, really does. And welcome, like new founders, welcome. You know what I mean? I think that like for me, once I started, like I removed the imposter syndrome and I was like, no, this is what I'm doing. I've met so many other so many other people that are doing cool things that has just motivated me more because you kind of like, I don't know, you just leave this old identity behind, you know what I mean? You just need to just put yourself out there, meet people and like embrace what you want to do and just fucking do it. I don't know.
I think one of the things that really like kind of like, because it didn't start like we didn't have this idea at first, like the first idea, like I've always loved the idea of like what I had with Evan and Ben and like, you know, a lot of my clients in Nerlin, like what we've built the relationships, like that's part of the journey. But I think, you know, could kind of touch on your point, like it really started, to be honest, with like Oren Singer, right? And like this is a guy who's starting like a legit, like a totally new different business, a model that hasn't been like, you know, created. And he's actually seeing some success of it now, which is really cool.
Dory, right?
No, that's Oren Singer's
sorry,
running Sparrow.
sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But even Noam as well too. That's a perfect example. And like,
Sparrow
dude,
is. Can you tell me a little
Oren,
bit about Sparrow?
you haven't met him, but
no, but I know him.
essentially like,
We're connected. He does like something with. Actually, please tell me because.
So like he connects like renters and owners. So like
Okay,
let's say
gotcha.
there's somebody, let's say you have an extra room in your apartment, and you know you could use the money, and you want someone that like that you don't want to just put like Kijiji on it. Like they'll match you with someone that's perfect. So like a good example is like an elderly person that might have an extra spare room, and you know they can get a student on, and in exchange the student like, obviously pays money, but like will also like do the dishes or do X, Y, and Z.
Very cool.
But I just want to finish this point quickly. Like the point of it also is like, wait a minute, Noam's working on like the first data farm of Canada, and Oren's working on the first, you know, renter sharer platform. And it's like, why the fuck aren't these people talking?
Yeah.
And it's like, let's start a little small group. And it was legit like 6 members. I think you guys were like the first 3. I'm like, you guys have to join, like, you know, and then, and that's just kind of how it blows and it goes and it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just want to add something about Sparrow, but it's all good.
Go at it. I'm curious.
No. I just want to.
It.
No, what makes Sparrow so special also is that they like do compatibility tests with the
that's
renters
cool.
and the rentee or whatever.
That's very cool. That's probably
add.
like the coolest thing about them.
Yeah. No, all good. All good.
No, that's very, very cool. One thing that I wanted to say that I like about the journey a lot is that we're not closing ourselves off to like only tech people or only CPG. You know what I mean? Like I've been to a lot of events and things that are just like for this group or that group. I think what's really interesting about this group is that we are a super diverse group of founders from all different backgrounds that just like, it's just like good vibes and supporting each other as opposed to competition. And I think that's, I don't know, that's fucking beautiful. I met 100%. Jax from Shippy.
Yeah, exactly. That's another, like, I guess you
like,
call that.
So cool.
That's like a success story of the journey.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't like end up working together, just the fact that like
Jax and I are going to work together.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm saying, I wasn't sure.
Oh, you didn't know?
No. But I'm just saying, like, even the fact that you would be connected with someone who could potentially like ship your packages, like, that's crazy. Like, that is literally the power of the Journey community.
And for context, for people listening, Jax is the founder of Shippy, and Shippy does same-day delivery within the GTA for $8 flat, which is, I'm telling you, I'm in e-commerce. I've spoken to like literally all the fulfillment partners. I've seen all the rates everywhere. You can't find this rate. This is insane. I actually ended up connecting him to the partners that I'm going to be working for 3PL because I'm not going to be shipping my orders myself in the beginning. It's a decision. Remember how we were saying some things you decide to do, some things you don't. This is personal decision. I'm like, I want somebody to handle that for me. I just, mental health wise, don't want to have 2,000 units of candles that I'm like having to process in my home and in my office. It's going to be like mentally depleting for me. But connected Jax to my 3PL partner, and I think they're going to partner up and do $8 flat shipping for all of their customers for this 3PL. It's fucking crazy.
That's dope. I think one of the things that you really got to think about is, you know, like Jax is a great guy. We actually went to high school with him too.
Hi, Jax.
Hi, Jax. But my point is that like if you notice in the group, like
you guys went to high school with him?
Yeah, we went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah, we
That's
did.
Wild.
We did. He's our age too.
No way.
Yeah, we're all 95s.
What do you mean? Are we not?
Use it.
Am I not the same age as you guys? Are you guys?
No, first of all, we're 95s.
Oh my God. You guys are little babies.
I'd say, yeah, like we're like, we just graduated out of the baby
No,
category.
you guys are
I
not
feel like.
babies. I just feel like a grandmother, but I'm very young still. I feel young but old. It's weird.
I feel like once you get to this age and in your 30s, I feel like they're all the same.
Yeah, my brother would agree. I
Yeah.
always call he would freaking hate me if he listens to this. I'd be surprised if he gets like this far into it, but if he does, hi Emilio. My brother is turning 30 this year and he's the cutest. But I keep calling him my little brother because he's my little brother.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with his age or size. He's really tall and he's 30 now. So like obviously he's not so little. And he gets really, really upset when I call him my little brother. Every time I introduce him, especially to like women friends.
Yeah.
I'm not your little brother anymore. Like, why do you call me that? I'm like, because you're my little brother. He's like,
Yeah,
it
what's
doesn't
wrong with
matter.
that?
It's all the same thing. You know what I mean? Like after you're 20, I don't know, after a certain age, it's all the same thing. And I agree with him, but
Yeah, for sure.
And I know Zach also has like deep questions,
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah, we
okay.
can save them for another episode. Let's just end it off with like,
do you want to do one deep question?
Like,
Or do you
fine.
want-
yeah, like I like the
Just to
question.
scratch,
No,
just to scratch your itch.
I just like the question that you asked Ale before we started rolling. I feel like that's a good question to end off on. No,
Oh, okay.
no, but it needs to come from the heart. If it's a
Okay,
deep question, it needs to come
well,
from the heart. So if it's another one, then
No, it's fine. It's fine. Look, journeys, we're humans, you know, business and life, especially for founders, like they interject, they have to. I want you to think about, you know, at the end of the day, when you're gone, I don't mean to be dark about this. What do you want people to remember you for? And you don't have to figure that all out.
No,
Businesses
no.
will change, but I'm curious what you think
Yeah,
about.
no, it's true. You gave me a little bit of a heads up with this question, so I feel like I have like the thing that I really would want, and it's just for people to remember me as a person that brought people together, which is funny that we're working on this idea of a journey and community together. And I, gave you a little bit of context on that, but I will give you more context. And this is actually a story that I don't tell many people because I've been very shy about this, but this is the perfect place to talk about it more because I've been thinking about just like putting my like things that I'm scared of behind me and just talking about things. And if I cry, you don't put this on video. Okay. Or maybe you can. But yeah, when I was, okay, this is crazy. When I was a baby, obviously, when I was in the womb, I was born with an issue actually with my hands. And I will show you guys after the whole story is done, okay? And I literally don't talk about this. Like people watching this who know me will be fucking shocked that I'm talking about this on camera. I know you've never noticed.
I'm
You
just
see
looking
me
at your
twice in
hands. I'm just
people.
looking at your hands.
You
Like,
see me
it's-
twice in real life. Like
Yeah.
you would have never noticed. And I'm really good at hiding it because I'll tell you why. When I moved to the States from Mexico, I was 7 and I was teased a fuck ton by kids because my
About?
hands did not look normal. I was born with a thing called polydactyly. It's like one of the most common like malformations, let's call it. I hate the word deformity. I think it's an awful fucking word that shouldn't be in anybody's vocabulary because who decides what is not formed properly? I think it's awful. But it is that. It's something that, went wrong when I was developing in my mom's womb. And essentially, like, I just can't. I don't have a thumb on my left hand. This sounds
Wow.
fucking crazy. I know it's like a shock factor. I will show you. I was born with almost, I know. I'll show you guys. I have to show you guys. Should I show you guys?
Yeah, just show us.
Let me show you guys.
Wait, you don't have a thumb on your left hand?
No.
I don't know what's
I
going on
literally-
here.
Let me show you guys. I have 5 fingers on my left hand, but one of them is not an actual thumb. This is fucked. And Noor is being nosy and he wants to see. I love it. Okay. So I don't know if I actually want this on camera. Maybe someday, but I'll show you guys. Okay, so this hand has 5 normal fingers.
And this is a thumb.
There's a thumb, but you see how I have like a little bone here?
Yeah.
You can touch it. It's not going to eat you. You
Don't
see, it's like
It looks really fun to me.
yeah, but I had surgery, so this
Oh, okay.
I had like an extra little growth here that was going to grow. And I had surgery, and it was an amazing surgeon. I wasn't even like a year old, and he like fixed my hand because you just never know what hand you're going to use, and
Okay.
this is what makes us human, like the opposable thumb. This hand, however, did not grow a thumb, and I just grew like another index finger instead of a thumb. I'm going
Yeah.
to shock you guys right now. But basically, my thumb was here, or my finger thumb. I call it my flum. It's a finger thumb. I think it's hilarious. Anyway, so my finger was here, and I had surgery, and the doctor literally removed my finger and did this, which is fucking crazy.
I don't
So,
understand. I don't understand.
dude.
I don't know. Like it looks
No, it
normal, but like
doesn't,
it doesn't.
Zach.
You know what though? You know what?
I know
though?
it's cool. People think
It's
it's
not
cool,
that it's
and
cool. It's just like
it's really different.
no. What I would say to you, and you obviously know this,
but
is
there's
just
a
like
whole point to the story. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Definitely have to circle
No.
back.
But like we can talk about it, and then I'll come
No,
back
we'll
to
talk
my
about it.
point
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the story. But okay, so look at my scar, like all around my hand.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I was really teased when I moved to the States. I guess like growing up in Mexico was just like a normal thing. Like kids in school like just saw me since I was a
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
and like never thought anything of it. And then when I moved to the States, I was really fucking teased. Like, it was bad. Like, I would call my mom crying to pick me up from school.
I'm sorry.
I started, like, hiding my hands, like, wearing long sleeve and hiding my hands. And just, like, I felt like a fucking outcast. On top of it, I was a Mexican kid. My teachers would be like, you're in America. You speak English here. That would never happen now, by the way. But that happened to me. I would get detention for speaking Spanish. So there was, like, a lot of things happening in my life around that same time where I felt really excluded. And I think that, I don't know, I just became, like, made me very compassionate to other people. And, like, I think it made me like hyper aware if somebody feels uncomfortable or somebody feels like they're not included, like just made me want to include people. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like something like that can turn you into something hard. It can harden you. But for me, I think it made me like a very inclusive person and like very sensitive to people's differences.
You know what it's like to her. You know what it's like to her. Yeah.
So if people can remember me for something, I hope that it's for making them feel comfortable and like included. And I think that's what life and this journey really is all about.
I love that.
So yeah, crazy story, but.
I love that. I love that.
Awesome.
You make people feel special. You make them feel loved. You make them like, it's not easy for somebody to come to, you have to, one of the things we also think, we didn't talked about in the journey yet, it's like, not everybody here knows each other, right? And like, that's a thing too, right? It's like, how do you make them feel comfortable? How do you like make them not feel like the guy that's just like, you know, sitting at the back of the room, like not saying anything to anyone. And I think we've done a pretty good job at doing that. And I think we're going to double down on that a lot.
Yeah. I think, I really like the idea of having people, I don't know if we'll have a mic in the next event or anything like that, but like just giving people the room to talk about their product and what they're doing. Like I love that Daniel brought his machine.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, so cool. Yeah. But no, we've definitely done a good job at making people feel comfortable. I mean, I'm a quite shy person. Networking events scared the heck out of me for a while. And like I felt pretty comfortable at the first Journey event. And like I said earlier in the podcast, I feel pretty comfortable and like open to say anything with our community. So
I mean, I talked about my flum, you guys. I've never done that. Both the finger thumb.
Can we name the episode the flum?
No, fuck you. If people reference this, you know they fucking listen to the episode. You should put this at the end just to check. Just be like, yo, you guys interviewed the girl with the flum. But I hope I don't become like known that way. Like that's not cool.
Look, yeah, no, 100%. I used to think I had a very big nose. It's like a Jewish thing a little bit, but like, you know, I used to think I had a really big nose and like I felt like people like kind of made fun of me for it. But then I like looked in the mirror and I'm like, it's not that weird. It's like, and who gives a fuck if I have a big nose? Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
You don't want to look normal. Yeah. You want to look different.
Jimmy would say the same thing.
That's what makes you unique.
Yeah.
Well,
no, seriously, like, come
I was
on.
gonna make a funny face. I won't do it.
And yeah, there's nothing wrong with your nose. But yeah, I feel like we probably have to wrap the episode up.
Yeah.
Are we getting hangry?
A little bit. I feel like, I mean, besides the technical issues with the mics, we'll work on that for next episode. But yeah, I feel like it was a pretty good first episode. Awesome first guest. I'll let Zach do the outro just because he's better at this stuff than I am.
I just want to say thank you everybody for listening this far. We're going to work on it and get a little bit better. I want to thank you again personally, Ali. Like, again, like I talk to new people every single day, but we talked 6 months ago and then we talked again and then we talked again. And then we started working on this project together, the journey, and like you're a special person, you know, and I'm rooting for you all the way. We love you. So thank you for everything you do for us. You really do a lot. You do.
Thank you guys.
You motivate us and you introduce us to people and, you know, we want to do the same for people when we get there too.
Thank you for including me in the journey.
We would
Sounds
like
so cheesy, but it's true.
It's one of the demands.
Really appreciate it. This has been awesome. I'm flattered to be the first guest on this podcast.
Flat Earth?
Flat Earth.
Okay. All right, let's wrap it up.
Bye, guys.
Okay, we're done.